Hey everybody, welcome to the Paranormal Rush Hour. I'm your host, Ryan Rush, and I want to start off tonight's show by asking you guys to raise your hands if you've seen NASA's new "We Are Going" ad video. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All 5 of you that watch my show. No, I'm just kidding. Um, I want to take a second though and tell you guys how much I appreciate all of you watching and all the awesome, amazingly supportive, encouraging comments that you guys have left me. It's just made me feel really good about what I'm doing, and that I might be going in the right direction with it. So really, really want you guys to know how much I appreciate that. Also, if you haven't subscribed yet, please do. Hit the subscribe thing down there and the little bell beside it so that you'll be notified when I do upload my new videos, my new episodes. And also, I have a Paranormal Rush Hour Facebook page. So head on over there, give that a like, and usually just post stuff like the when I'm about to upload a new show and topics and things like that, announcements and current things going on with the show, things of that nature. So go check it out if you want to. And also, I have started a Paranormal Rush Hour Instagram account. I'm not real good at Instagram yet, but I'm figuring it out. Facebook took me about a year to get real good at it, and I'm just now kind of feel like I have figured out most stuff on it. So I figured, well, it's time now to tackle Instagram. So I'm gonna give that a go, and next year I'll probably start with Twitter. No, I'll probably do it sooner than that. But anyway, let's see. Let's get back to the topic at hand. Okay, what we're going to discuss right now is NASA's new, I guess, ad campaign video, and it was narrated by none other than William Shatner. And if you haven't seen it, I recommend you go and give it a look because it is very interesting. Basically, the gist of it is that we are going back to the moon by 2024 to stay. Yes, they said that. To stay. Okay. Let's talk about that. All right, they're going to the moon to stay. The whole way that they're able to even do this at all is that they can now get bigger payloads off of the planet into space away from Earth's gravity, that allows them and opens up the door for tons of things, they say. How do they do this? Well, they've developed this brand new rocket system called the SLS, Space Launch System. Very creative name. I don't put anything past I'm going to use a George Carlin term here, nassholes. I don't put anything past them. Okay. The nassholes call it the SLS, Space Launch System. Okay, this is supposed to be like the most advanced rocket ever built. It's huge, for one thing. They say it's going to be the catalyst for deep space missions. I guess they're talking about Mars. That's the whole point of the moon being this epicenter of NASA. Now, this little station away from Earth is so that it can be a jump point from Earth to Mars. Okay, they can supposedly set up the SLS to launch from what they're calling Gateway, which is going to be a space station basically that is put into orbit, yet it shares Earth's orbit. It's like it occupies two orbits at one time. It's like a multi orbital space station, basically. It operates in between Earth and Moon's gravity. So, pretty much what it does is orbits the moon, and wherever it's at, they can launch to that direction and have adequate propulsion, I guess. Um, I don't know how all that works because I'm not a rocket scientist and don't plan on becoming one. But um, anyhow, that's what they're doing. Okay, that's the whole reason for this. The whole reason for going there to begin with. So they say. Let's get into this though. The okay, Gateway. All right, is supposedly Gateway is going to be able to house up to like I can't remember how many people they said. Um, I don't know why I'm thinking 20, but I don't remember if that's actually what I heard or not. And I don't see where I wrote it down, of course. But anyway, this is supposed to house people for like 2 months. Okay. Um, I don't even think I did write down how many it is, but I'll put it this way: they're making new lunar modules that will hold multiple persons, and they're wanting them to be able to ride basically in these things from Earth to the moon, into space to the moon, and back to Earth safely, and land back on Earth safely. That's what they're wanting to do. I guess like a transit system if you got to go to work up on the moon. I don't know, man. But for real, this shit's nuts. Okay, and I'll tell you why it's nuts in just a minute. Before that, we're going to talk about this though. What makes them even think they can go to the moon and sustain life? Okay, well, in 2009, they discovered millions of tons of water ice in craters on the moon. I mean, like tons of them. And I do remember when this was discovered. Uh, I think because at the time I was working in education, and I do remember somebody talking about this. But they did find this water ice on the moon in these craters, and they're saying that they can take the ice, melt it down, purify the water for drinking, and whatever else, and then they can separate it molecularly. They can take it, deconstruct it molecularly, take the hydrogen, use it to make rocket fuel, and then separate the oxygen, use it for breathing, and there you go. You got sustainable resources, or resources that will sustain, I suppose. But I mean, here's the thing. Okay, what do they know about moon water? Probably as much as I know about moon water. Have they got any moon water? I haven't seen any or heard of any. What do they know that, okay, can they just run it through a charcoal filtration system and every little piece of space, whatever, molecules make you sick, diseases, virus, whatever, the Andromeda strain, whatever's in that thing. Like, seriously, is that going to get rid of it? Or do they even know if it's, something like that's in there or not? Or what? What do they know about it? Probably as much as I know about it. Those nassholes do this stuff. Okay. Let's get back here. For the record, I do know someone that works at NASA, or did work for NASA. He was a rocket scientist, and he's a very nice guy. I like him a whole lot. he's not an asshole, but I'm just saying, I do have ties to these people. Um, let's see. The ice. The ice is what does it. The ice is what has got them here. I do believe. If they hadn't been smoking ice, no, I'm totally kidding. If they hadn't been looking at all this ice, they wouldn't have thought that this could happen. Period. I mean, to me, it's ludicrous, and we're gonna get into that. And you might want to know what this has to do with paranormal. It's gonna get paranormal. Trust me. Okay, it's it's gonna happen soon. All right. The jet fuel, water, blah blah blah. The pods that they're developing to transport multiple persons are basically going to be able to dock at the gateway, and that's where these people will go. And then what they're wanting to do is take these pods, be able to go and transit from the gateway to the lunar surface to whatever part of the moon they wish to go to at that time, I guess. And it'll pass right by there, and they can just hop on down and then catch the bus when it comes back by. Now they're developing these new lunar modules, these new lunar pods that can go down to the lunar surface and go and take off from the lunar surface with the capability of piloting its of being hit my monitor of being piloted back to the gateway. Okay, so that's neat. They need to do that if they're going to go to the moon, but they're not even building this stuff themselves. That's another thing. They've hired contractors. They've contracted out all the hardware. Okay, so basically, you've got these people who aren't NASA building NASA's rockets. Um, they said this was the only way that they could do it was to contract out. And what they're doing, they're going to contract out to actually move the payloads to the moon. I do believe. I'm pretty sure that's what I heard. I wrote that down, so I'm pretty sure I didn't hear that wrong. They're the contractors will deliver small payloads to the moon, and NASA will not own it, own the hardware, basically, to do all this. NASA is only providing the service, basically. Uh, NASA will not own any of the hardware and are only purchasing the service and only providing basically the people to go there. So, um, man, I mean, well, okay. This is just okay. This is crazy to me. Okay, I will explain why. All right, let's look at this. The moon landing, July 20th, 1969. Okay, Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin were supposedly the first two men to walk on the moon. I personally do think the moon landing happened. I am a believer in the moon landing. Okay, I'll tell you exactly why. Um, I share the same theory that Dr. Greer shares on this, and he is much more connected than most people are to this type of thing. So I really would put a lot of validity in what he's saying. Um, Not just because he's connected, because I mean the guy's an emergency medical physician, and he does have a reputation, and he's the one person that a lot of people do not think is crazy who does this stuff. So I mean that might tell you something there about him, but I really do think he's legit. I mean, a lot of people, some people, are like about him, but I mean, my personal feelings on him, and that's what I'm influenced by. Uh, I don't think he's as full of it as some people do. I watched his movie also, and I do recommend watching. Oh gosh, it just slipped my mind to the name of it. Something disclosed? No, acknowledged. Unacknowledged, I believe is what it's called. Yeah, unacknowledged, and it's about UFOs and the government cover-ups and things like that. It's very interesting to watch, actually, and extremely informative. Okay, um, take it as you want to. I did, but I mean, it's not a waste of time to watch it, in my opinion. So back to what I was saying about the moon landing itself. I do believe it happened. Okay, I do believe they went. I do believe they landed on the moon. And I do believe that they encountered extraterrestrials on the moon. I do believe that. And that's how the story goes. Okay. The moon landing footage. Okay, yeah, of course it's faked. I mean, there you can tell it's fake. There's a few things that I've seen personally that, you know, okay, like the rock, for instance, with the C on it, the infamous C rock. Um, Man, that right there, I really do think was a legit prop, and somebody, mucked up with it. And I really do think that that's what it was. Now there's pictures that have come out with that C not there. Well, man, come on. I can take that C off on my cell phone. I mean, for real. Get out of here with that crap. That's the only thing they have to explain that away, is that they now have better resolution pictures, and that must have been a hair or a thread on whatever it was that printed that picture out. I don't see an idiot anywhere in here. Okay. So when they got up there, this is what happened. Okay. NASA also anticipated this happening. They knew that there was a good probability that they would encounter extraterrestrials on the moon. Okay, they pretty much knew this. And in the event of the extreme likelihood that this happened, they decided to make footage that was actually fake. Okay, so that they could, if they did get up there and encounter ETVs, they could switch it over real quick from the live feed to the pre-recorded footage and show that as the actual moon landing. Okay, while whatever it is that's going on up there is still going on. They didn't want the public to see that. Okay, that would, I mean, you can understand why. I mean, if I were in the government, I would have done the same thing, honestly. I mean, I would have faked it if I thought there was a good chance that they were going to get up there and encounter UFOs or ETVs. For those of you who don't know the terminology in ETV, ETV stands for extraterrestrial vehicle. Uh, that's what you would call that's what I would call an actual uh, spacecraft that we know is not from here. I would just call that an extraterrestrial vehicle. And that's basically what it means. It means it's beyond the realm of UFO. It's gone to, well, we know it's extraterrestrials, so it's an extraterrestrial vehicle. That's when they start using that term. And that is the terminology that they use for what they saw up on the moon. Okay. What happened was they got up there and there went 2 minutes of radio silence. The infamous 2 minutes of radio silence. Okay. This radio silence was, it happened because they had two separate medical lines. Okay. Buzz and Neil both had their own medical line to talk to whomever down there at NASA at Houston. And this medical line was completely closed off. It was one way, it was private, and it was not publicly broadcasted like their main line could be. So they got on these med lines and they started conversing with Houston about what they were seeing. They got up to the moon. I believe it's when they landed, or either when they landed, or okay, it was either when they landed or right before they landed, they saw ETVs come up over the rim of a crater, a massive crater. Okay, and they were parked like facing them. I can't remember exactly how many they said. I know it was more than three or more. I want to say it was a lot more than that though, like a dozen or so. I can't remember for sure though, so don't quote me on any of that. I hope you don't quote me anyway, but anyway. Okay. So these ETVs came up over the rim of the crater, or came up on the rim of the crater, and they basically made contact with them, and they told them that they were not welcome there. They they needed to leave. They did not need to come back until they were there with a peaceful motive. Okay. So basically, what that means is, okay, we were in the midst of the Cold War. That's what inspired the space race to begin with. The Cold War did it. Okay. The Cold War, Russia had a better space program than us, no doubt. Okay. But so we had to really vamp it up. And somehow, I don't know how, but somehow um there was, okay, somehow or another, these whatever was up there on the moon, they knew what was going on down here on Earth. Okay. How they knew, I don't know. And that leads me into another thing I'm going to talk about here in just a second, as soon as I finish this. What we're talking about, though, about the ETVs that showed up on the rim of the crater, they told them all that. And I do believe the story goes they allowed them to stay up there and until they could leave, but I think they allowed them to stay up there and do their thing, collect their samples, do whatever it was they had to do, and then told them not to come back. All right. So here's what makes me wonder. Okay, we've got somebody who went up there, was told not to come back. Okay. And then 50 years later, they decide to announce that we're going back to stay. Okay. So now we're going back to the moon to stay there after we were told not to come back. This is what I wonder, okay? And a lot of people have asked this question. I well, I'm not going to say I wonder about it, but it makes me wonder a little more because they knew what was going on. So I really don't think it was us that was up there. I don't think it was our own UFOs. Dr. Greer says the same thing. I've watched a video where he said the same thing. And he said it for the same reason I do. They would not risk exposure. Okay, we would not risk exposure if we knew what was going on. We would not risk it. Okay, if this was supposed to be a legit everything, it wouldn't have occurred at all. I don't think if it were us, we had probably had the technology, the UFOs, to get up there, but you can't let that out of the bag. Anyway, so that's that. They told him not to come back. So now, what is it now? Do we have a peaceful motive? Are we cool with everything now? See, I don't know, but I imagine since they were already up there on the moon in their little UFOs, and we had to freaking fly a rocket up there that broke into pieces, and then, I mean, look at how primitive it was to get up there. That's the way I've always seen our technology that we have out in the public eye. That's the way I've always seen it, man. It's ridiculous. It really is when you think about it, okay? When you think about that we have UFOs, it's a documented freaking fact. I mean, the Navy's put out protocol for reporting sightings now. So if that doesn't validate something, I don't know what does. And see, and we we have a rocket that shoots fire out of its ass end and goes up through the atmosphere, torpedoes itself up through the atmosphere, while these dudes have UFOs doing 15,000 miles per hour over a plane, I mean, a flat field, 20, 30 feet off the ground. I mean, for real, man, we are so far behind everyone else in the universe as far as I consider it. I don't know everyone else in the universe, but I'm just saying the ones that have come here and hollered at us so far, man, we don't have anything close. You think we're going to fly a rocket up to their planet and say, hey, what's up, man? Here we are. And a rocket. No wonder they don't want us up there. Because we hide our technology from our own people, And I mean, this might be sounding a little conspiracist of me, but I am somewhat of a conspiracist, and it's true. That's the thing. I do believe it is true. They have technology that we do not have that would change our lives. It would revolutionize our world. And they hold on to it. They don't let us have it. And a lot of people know this. It's not a secret. It's not like we don't know what they're doing. DARPA is required to stay like 25 years ahead of where we are now. Like that's what they're there for. Futuristic technology. They're supposed to be developing the technology we'll have in 25 years today. They're envisioning it, I guess, dreaming it up. I don't see how that's a conflicting thing with me, because it's not it's the same thing as like a present day a current invention, but it is innovative and I do understand the concept. So, nonetheless, if they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, that's what their purpose is. Which, who knows what is doing what they're supposed to be doing in that mess up there. But let's get back to this. Okay. They knew they were there as a result of the space race, the Cold War. And we had to set foot on the moon to end the Cold War. I mean, we really did. There's no way around it. We had to do that. And we did. I do believe we did. And I mean, we went there. There's no question about it. Neil and Buzz, they went there. Now, and like I said, I don't think the crafts were ours. Okay, I do not think they were us. I think it was actual extraterrestrial vehicles. Okay. Um, the thing is, like, I've heard them describe the crafts. They were saucer shaped, I believe, and some were triangular. I want to say they said they were different, and then you had the what is it? Crap! I lost my train of thought again. But the way they looked, yeah, they basically, it sounded like they basically look like UFOs, like the ones that did, common depiction of UFO. That's what it sounded like. Um, I wish I knew more about this. I really do. But Neil was threatened. Of course, if he spoke about this, um, people were going to get hurt, and Buzz probably too. But see what happened with Buzz, man. He had a mental breakdown. He had a he had a big psychological issue when he came back. Well documented. He had to go spend time in the Air Force psychiatric hospital, and while he was there, he confided into someone about what happened up there, and uh, I heard that from Dr. Greer, Dr. Stephen Greer, if you're not familiar with him. And what he was saying about it is, I want to say he had a family member that was in there at the same time he was, and or he, either that or he had met someone that was, and they claimed that they were told this by Buzz Aldrin. Um, I mean, it came from the horse's mouth. Be it in a psychiatric hospital or not, I don't think someone in 1969 is going to bullshit about that, to be honest with you. I just really don't. I think that's legit. I think he was being real, and I think that is the reason he was in there. Because if you look at the footage, you look at the pictures of them, the looks on their faces, they do not look stoked to be on the moon. Okay. That you would think they'd be like, oh my gosh, this is great, so excited, can't keep a smile off my face. I'm on the moon. I mean, I've done something that nobody else has ever done. This is the first, as far as I know, in history. I'll be remembered forever. This is gonna be wonderful. And none of that seemed to be going through their heads. I mean, they had the most solemn, just it's almost like they were disturbed, like they looked like they had been just unsettled, like Buzz especially looked like that in those pictures. Now, I don't know. I don't know what. I mean, I've heard other stories about them saying stuff, and lie detector tests, like polygraphs and stuff, saying that they admitted they saw UFOs up there. And I've heard about all that stuff, but I mean, they're not gonna lie about that. I don't think. I really don't think they would. Uh, Especially now, I mean, that, it's come out pretty well known that, UFOs exist, and we're not the only things out here in the world, I mean, in the universe, and not the only world in the universe. I wouldn't imagine. So anyway, I I don't know, man. This whole thing though has gotten me just full of questions. And William Shatner, he said, we're gonna have challenges like we've never faced before. We're gonna have uh, challenges like what was it? He said the challenges we face is basically what it was. Were temperature, radiation. We're gonna have to overcome radiation, gravity, and extreme environments like we've never known. Um, that's what it sounded like. They hadn't figured out how to sustain human life on the moon. I can tell you that. They figured out how to sustain life in a space station orbiting the moon. And they're talking about, I see, I don't know what they're talking about with these payloads. Where are they going to put them? Are they putting them on Gateway, or are they going to put them on the surface? See, I thought that they were going to put them on the surface of the moon and actually store stuff there. Man, okay. Let's talk about this for a minute. There's a theory that the moon is actually a space station. Okay. The moon is actually a space station that was put there, long, long, long ago. And who knows who put it there, why it's there, or whatever. But they think, it may be there for like surveillance type things or something. Or, I mean, who knows? But that's what I've heard a lot of. And when you talk about this, they say that's the reasoning for it. Well, if if that's, eh, I don't know, but mm, one of them starts with a B and one of them starts with an S. I know that. But anyway, yeah, yeah, here they are, right here, bosun, I think, or yeah, I kind of scribbled on that. Sorry, something with a B, and Sherbakov, Bosun and Sherbakov, maybe. Close enough. Anyhow, that's who it was. I wanted to give them credit. Make sure they got the credit for this because I didn't think this up. Um, okay, they say the moon space station. Okay, there's this space station on the moon, or the moon is a space station. They don't know what's on it, but I mean, there's evidence of structures and stuff like that on there. So buildings and stuff. So, you know. I mean, even craters that look just like satellite dishes and stuff. I mean, there's tons of pictures of those. Just Google it, you'll see them. See them all. I mean, all of them that you've ever wanted to see. They're all there. Anyway, the thing about it is they said it was hollow. Okay. They had evidence somehow to back this up too, that it was hollow, mathematical evidence and stuff, whatever. I don't know how they did it, but they did. And then you look at what the moon's surface is composed of. Okay. Like in the moon dust, all right, you've got like traces, or no, I don't even think it's traces. I think it's all made up of this, actually. You have chromium, titanium, and zirconium. Okay. You have all of those three things, okay? Those three elements that make up the moon dust. And I just cannot remember the technical name for it. I believe it starts with an R or a D. I don't know. Anyway, um, yeah, I mean, like, okay, so if something is made up of that, that's like a material that is devised to protect something like satellite or something like that. There's theories that in the interior of the moon is like an engine or something, or possibly a generator of some sort. Because I mean, it's a known fact that if everything is like they say it is in nature, the moon does turn the tides. So something's got to be doing that, and somehow it does that. I don't know. I don't know what the deal is with this. Another thing that makes this interesting is that they are recording moonquakes up there of like 5 on the Richter scale. They're going all the way up to a 5 on the Richter. Now, moonquakes, dude. There's fault lines on the moon. I don't know about all that. See, that's what I mean. I just really don't know about it. So, uh, let's see. Yeah, then you've got other problems, you know, that could occur from a planet, or I mean, a moon being a space station, and then us going up there and landing on it and occupying it, whatever we're going to do, and staying there. If everything is actually like they say it is, this is going to cause some shit unless it's okay, unless they know it's okay, unless they've already talked to him and hashed it out and been like, yeah, man, we're all good. We squashed that beef we had, back in 1969. So you guys come on up and chill with us and be a part of the intergalactic family. I don't really think that's what's happening, to be honest. So it's kind of interesting to see how this might play out in the next 5 years. I'm just not sure about it, to be honest with you. It's scary, for one thing, going back to the moon. I mean, I don't know, man. Trump is already giving I think it's $1.6 billion extra to NASA's budget. I mean, which that's all fine and good. They've already got a $21 billion budget, so now they have a $22.6 billion budget. So whatever, whatever. Okay, the thing is, the thing that I mean, the metal that makes up the elements that make up the moon dust, it's I mean, it can protect things from all kinds of stuff, like extreme temperatures, radiation. It can protect from radiation, like meteors striking. I know that happens. I mean, stuff like that. And they were saying there was a time when people recorded there not being a moon in the sky. I don't know when this was or would be, but stuff does exist saying that there is no moon there, or never mentioning anything about a moon. I don't know, something. I've seen something on that, though. I don't know, if that's what's up or not, but man, it's just, this has all gotten pretty crazy with this. And I wasn't really planning on even doing an episode about this kind of thing for a while. To be honest, like the whole like moon thing and stuff. But when I saw that ad a few days ago, I was like, oh man, I can't let that go by. I've got to, I've got to say something about this. So anyway, yeah, that's what's going on. But I mean, okay, the moon, they would say, is like a monitor for our planet. All right, is it? And is that how they knew that we were coming up there with Cold War driven motives? I don't know. But, I mean, how else would they have known? They had to, something had to have told them. Something had to have alerted them to it. I mean, it's not like they sent out we sent a news transmission up or something, to let them read. But anyway, so, I mean, are we being allowed to go back up there? That's something I want to know. Is it okay? Is it permissible? Or are we just like heading up there and just going to hope for the best and hope that that was all bullshit or something? Or possibly maybe it was us the whole time. And, you know, we're controlling the scenario to begin with, which I don't think is the likely case. But it is a possibility. I don't know, man. I mean, I realize that I've taken this to another place with, the whole theories and stuff, and I don't consider the moon thing about them seeing UFOs and all that. I do not consider that a theory. Okay, I don't. They, I mean, why in the world would that even be like, why would you make something like that up? No, I mean, I know people would, but, you know, it's just, it seems to me, just because I know the UFOs are actually up there flying around, it just seems to me like that is probably what went down. I don't know why, but I just have a feeling. I mean, just seeing that look on their faces, man, it's just, it's insane. And the fact that Buzz, had a breakdown, and I don't know, it had to be like a PTSD driven type thing or something. I don't know. But man, it's just so weird, all this stuff that, happened with them, and the way that 2 minutes of silence was there. And then all of a sudden, they on the moon, you know. Sorry for all the noise. I was just making sure I didn't leave anything out that I wanted to. But yeah, they're planning on landing on the South Pole of the moon with this thing. So we'll see what happens with that. You know, they're wanting to go to Mars so bad. Mars is like the whole reason they're doing this, because they need that bump, that catalyst to get there. They need that to happen. And Mars used to be a habitable place, they said, and it used to be, I mean, like Earth, basically, is what I've heard. And I don't know why. No one really knows, I don't think, why Earth kept evolving and Mars did not. It's kind of like they kind of digressed back to, nothing. But they say, there's remnants of life on Mars, that there was sustainable life on Mars, and that it was absolutely there. I mean, at one time, I don't know about now, but, at one time. But on Mars, man, I just, there's just something about going up to that place. You know that I think it's 3/4 of that planet is an ocean. Uh, or it had an ocean, was an ocean at some point. I mean, that's what makes it like Earth, a lot like Earth. Why is it that it's gone, man? Why is it gone? I don't know. I can't. I can't figure that out. I never could. I don't know. It's just, everything that they're having to do with this has just gotten, I don't know. It just sounds so far fetched. You know, it just really does. They're really wanting to do this. I mean, they say, the moon is uniquely suited to do this, or for this, to prepare and propel us to the Mars and beyond, I think is the way they put it. But um, I mean, they stated, that this will open up opportunities that cannot be foreseen. Okay, well, what opportunities have they foreseen that inspired this to start with? Okay. Now, also, they always have reasons that they will not, bring to light with the public, and keep things hidden. Uh, just always stuff. I don't know. They're bad about that, though. And I know they are. They just, and a lot of it's, they controlling fear and stuff. But sometimes, I don't know. Anyway, I think I'm gonna let it ride on that, guys. Um, I've made this long enough, talked about this enough. Probably repeated myself too many times for you, and I do apologize if that's the case. But anyway, I know there were more things I wanted to talk about with this too, but I think I covered all the main stuff I wanted to say. But anyway, oh yeah, I did want to say though that they when I was talking about the moon, being a space station, or so they think, they say that the crust moon is only like 2.5 miles thick or something, or deep or whatever. That's not much. I mean, considering, it's a moon. It's supposed to be like a solid planet, which, you know, by technicality, it would have to be solid, I think, to be considered a planet. Solid of something, or have a solid core, or I don't know, something like that. But man, who knows? I mean, they're saying there may have been cities up there, and they definitely seems like it's a monitor, for probably for the people, to keep up with who they even. I don't know. Anyway, let's see here. Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to see what happens, and I hope it's not going to be anything crazy. Because man, when you go up somewhere in space where they told you not to come back to, you better damn well have permission to come back. I would assume. I wouldn't want to do it without permission, and I just hope that someone in NASA has, over the last 50 years, relayed this information to the new people so they know that, this is the way it went on. I don't know, who knows. But I appreciate you guys sticking with me tonight and listening to my craziness about this. And I promise you, I'm going to have another UFO show that's even better than this one. I'm going to talk about some of my UFO experiences, my own UFO experiences, and probably the best UFO footage that's ever been shot in or recorded in history, which is, in my opinion, the new Utah UFO footage, which actually was shot in 2016, but released, I think it was last year, because they actually were afraid of ridicule and didn't want to release it. Who could imagine? But okay. Anyway, so I really appreciate everybody sticking with me and watching, and I'll be back with you guys as soon as I can, which will not be near as long as it was this time. Promise you that. All right. So everybody stay safe. And thank you for watching. And I'll see you real soon.